Hello everybody and welcome along once again to another edition of the Rebel Wide Ball. And I suppose, look, there's only one story in town this week, particularly if you're a GA person, and that is the round 3 games in the 5 adult hurling championships here in Cork. And round 3 means the last day at the office. And we'll go through the tables and we'll go through the, I think it's 30 games in all in a second. But I would imagine that, and all of these games, are going to be played at the same time. Each championship will be played at the same time. So we're starting off on Friday evenings at 7 o'clock. 2 start times on Saturday. That's 2, I think, and 7. And then later on Sunday, then we have the 2 and the 4 throw-ins. And the reason for that is that, look, this is going to be so tight that no team can be seen to have an advantage by knowing what they have to do before they go into it. So it's been an incredible championship, and as I said to you before, I think this 3 groups of 12 is what really makes this particular scenario. We've seen in some countries where they have 2 groups of 4, 8 teams in a particular championship, but a simple thing like relegation, that when these championships are finished, the teams at the bottom only 2 of them will contest the relegation final. So that ensures that every single team that will play in this will be fighting to the last minute. So if you like, I think we're going to start with the Friday evening throw-in, and that's the Premier Junior Hurling. And here, and this crew, if you like, were meant to be sent back to the divisions, but there was a change of heart, if you like, and now this championship is very much embedded into the structure, and in football they'll have something similar next year. So there's in Group 1, the 2 games that are on Friday evening, as I said, all throwing at 7 o'clock. Barry Rowe playing Kilbrittain in Ballinspittle, and Bars playing Milford at Kanturk. Now you'd have to say, look, that the 2 favourites here will be Kilbrittain and Milford. Now Kilbrittain are already, as far as I'm concerned, they're already qualified. It's practically impossible to catch them, and I see them as the favourites to top this group. Barry Rowe, though, they are no strangers to the other end of the spectrum. Then obviously it's a big game, they're playing their neighbours, they're going to have to give it their all. But once the other bottom teams in the other 2 groups can stay losing, that'll keep Barry Rowe in it. For what it's worth, I reckon, look, that Milford will take the Bears and that Barry Rowe will take Kilbrittain. Then we have the next group, Group 2 if you like, and that's where Ballygiblin and Arragleen Rangers, they can't be caught. Right, their game in Riverstown is basically to decide who probably will get the automatic semi-final spot. Now, of the 6 teams that will come out of these championships, except for the Premier Senior Hurling, 2 of them will go straight into semi-finals, and 4 of them will play 2 quarter-finals. So I think that particular game, that's what is going to be involved here. I would imagine that Ballygiblin would be the slight favourites to get over Arragleen Rangers. And then you have Bellygavin and Dripsy taking place in Ovens. Now, Bellygavin can really get nothing out of this, but for Dripsy, if they could get anything at all to take them off the bottom of the table, but I think they'll struggle here, and I do think they'll be one of the teams that will be contesting, as we call it, the Slaw Net final, for want of a better word or a better term. And finally, in the 3rd group here, it's going to be Tracton versus Russell Rovers in Caherlag. Again, like the Arragleen Rangers game, Ballygiblin, they're only playing for the automatic semi-final spot. But the big game here in Liscool is Glen Rovers and St. Catherine's. And the losers here, I think there's no choice that they are going to be in the relegation, unless there's a draw, of course, in the relegation final. Glen Rovers, remember, who were relegated last season, so they'll be anxious to get a win there. But I'm not too sure how that'll go. The fact that Glen Rovers' second team or first team won't be playing until Sunday might give them a little bit of a chance. So the Premier Junior Hurling, and for the teams down there, well structured, they're delighted with it. But for one of them, they're going to be heading back to their divisions. For 6 of them, they're going to continue on their summer of glory, if you like. Then moving to the Intermediate Air Hurling Championship, and these games go on at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And again, there's some really interesting matches here, and I just look at it, I think there's only 2 teams really that I can see definitely have qualified. Now in Group 1, a massive match between, it's top of the table really between Ahead and Lisgould, and maybe they mightn't have played each other a lot in the past, even though they are neighbours and they go to Clyne to play it. Like Ahead would have been operating at a higher level. Remember Lisgould a couple of years ago were down at junior level. They're top of the table here, so this is a big match for them. Well, big in so far as that, like, can they get caught? Probably not. Blackrock and Middleton is also an interesting match, and they play in Carrigtwohill. Blackrock are on 2 points, Middleton are on a point. So this is a group actually that could give us a few surprises, and I don't think it's going to read the way it's reading now when, at whatever time it happens, 3 on Saturday evening. So they're the 2 big matches in Group 1. In Group 2, we have Clodove playing Douglas in Brinny. Look, I would think that Douglas are improving, because obviously they have players back, but I think Clodove will win that, and as a consequence top the group. Ahabollock and Dungourney is the real big match. They're on 2 points each, and Ahabollock I know are doing well in the football as well, and I kind of tipped them maybe to get over the line and that, but look, absolutely nothing in it. Then in the final group here in this Intermediate A Hurling Championship, SARS and Kildare are literally qualified, and the game between them again in Fermoy is just basically to decide who topping the group. I would think the last game here though is the big one, Mayfield and Meelan. Both of them are pointless, and the losers here I think could be playing Douglas. Probably get hammered for this in the so-called relegation final there. And then moving on to the third, if you like, we're on to Sunday now, 2 o'clock. We're going in order from Premier Junior up. The Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship, always an amazing championship, and this year is absolutely no different. In the first group, we've Castleloynes playing Aerogue in Porkerain, and Carrigaline playing Watergrass Hill and Blarney. And in theory, this can go, anybody here can qualify, but look, you probably have to fancy that Castleloynes will get over Aerogue and so far. As the Aerogue are a little disappointing. Again, there's some of their players missing, and depending maybe on fellas like Kevin Hallisey so far. So I think the Castleloynes, who have been, I suppose they're disappointed that they're still here, in this championship, because in the past 2 years they would nearly got there up into the next grade. And Carrigaline and Watergrass Hill, close match, a brave person to call it in Blarney. I just go with Carrigaline in that one. Then we have the next group, in Escara playing Valley Rovers in Clodove, and Bandon playing Youghal in Ballygavin. A long journey for Youghal. In theory, anything can happen in this group. Well, anything can happen in any group, but we'll tell you probably what will happen is that I see in Escara beating Valley Rovers in this. They've been really good, unless Valley Rovers come up with some sort of a plan to keep an eye on Sean O'Donoghue. It would mean that they'll win. And if Bandon get over Youghal, and by the way now, Valley Rovers Bandon aren't that much better than Youghal, to be truthful about it, but if Bandon win that, they will get into the quarterfinals. No, okay, if Valley Rovers win, it opens up completely, but that's the way I see it going at the moment. Then Ballinhassig and Ballinhassig are on top of their group, and I think barring major upheavals, they're automatically qualified. They play Castlemartyr and Cove, and in the other match, I think Kilworth play Ballincollig. Ballincollig struggling here, insofar as they're bottomless at the moment, no point. Like Youghal, and they are the 2 that are favoured to go down. I think Kilworth will get over them, and if they do, that means Kilworth will move to 4 points, and Castlemartyr could be the team that would lose out if Ballinhassig beat them. So Kilworth, and in their game against Ballincollig and Castlemartyr's game against Ballinhassig, there's huge. These are huge matches for those 2 clubs. In the scenery, and these championship matches take place on Saturday at 7 o'clock, and in the first group we have Newcestown take Jan Clyne. I fancy Newcestown to win that one. They have won 1 and lost 1, and I think that would be good enough to take them through. But the real big match here is in Castletown Roach, where Mallow and Fermoy, they'd be kind of, I suppose they are, rivals up there in Cork, and to the brave person would call this one, and the winner of it will be the team that will go up. And I think Clyne are the side that are really going to be struggling. They won last year's, I think, relegation final. I think they're going to be back there again. The next group, and this is the group of death, the group of life. At the start, these were considered maybe the 4 best teams in it, all in the one group. Well, Father O'Neill's are well out in front. They played the bottom team, and Sunday and Youghal. Now, not being from that neck of the woods, but I'm told that Father O'Neill's, if they're playing Killa in Tiddlywinks or Marbles, they'd want to give them a bit of a hocking. So they'll probably be all out to win that, which would be bad news for Killa, that they'd be the bottom team. And the other match here is Courses and Blarney. It's a winner takes all. Both of them have lost a match. Both of them have lost to Father O'Neill's. Blarney probably on paper would have maybe the better hurlers from underage teams and things like that. But of course, this Corsi Rovers team play with a real commendable spirit. So I'm really looking forward to how that goes. That game is on in Páirc Uí Rinn. And then the last group here again, really close in that you had draws in this particular competition. Now Ballyhay take on Carricktool. My dear friends in Ballyhay, I don't mean to be in any way insulting, hopefully I'm not. I think they're boxing, is it above their weight on this occasion? They're doing well anyway, we'll put it like that. And it's a big match against Carricktool, who were relegated last year. That game goes on in Ballyanley. And Bride Rovers, who are probably up at the top end of the favourites for this competition, take on Ballymartle, who I've been really just surprised with insofar as the way they have, if you like, slipped back a little bit. So I expect Bride Rovers to get through there, and if Bride Rovers and the winners, I think the Bride Rovers are the winners of the Ballyhay Carricktool game will be the crowd to get up. As I said, Father O'Neill's and the winners of Courses and Blarney. The winners of Courses and Blarney, and for my Mallow and Newcestown, I do think Newcestown, even though they're second from the bottom at the moment, I think they'll be the team there, and accompanied by the winners of that game, that North Cork derby. In the Premier Scene of hurling, much has been made of the talk that one top team will not qualify, and that'll be the third teams from the third group, which we'll meet in a minute. I think the other two, though, not everybody will agree with this, having a chat with a few people beforehand. Look, the two games, and they're on at 4 o'clock on Sunday, and the two games here in Group 1, Middleton, Kanturk and Douglas, Newtown, Chandram. And look, you'd have to say, look, that Middleton would be really fancy to get over Kanturk, and for my consigning Kanturk into the bottom of that table. Douglas and Newtown, Chandram, somebody said to me, Newtown Chandram won't go down without a fight. My God, Douglas won't want to lose this one either, even though that they probably, can they afford to? Well, I think they can, but I don't think they will, and that game goes on in Mourne. The next group, Bishopstown, maybe the surprise package here differently. The bottom team here in the Piercy got in trouble, a bit like Kanturk, and it's Glen Rovers and the Piercy, and they're going out to Carricktool to play it. So look, you'd have to fancy Glen Rovers, and were they to win that one, they'd go to 4 points. Erin's Own and Bishopstown is the real big match, and look, on the face of it, Erin's Own would be fancy. Bishopstown, I suppose, look, they had a win over the Piercy, maybe that cost them was by surprise. Their season is safe, but I think that's as far as they're going, to be honest about it. And this is where we now come to where a situation where either Bars, Blackrock or SARS are going to be out of the championship on Sunday evening. Blackrock play Charleville in Mallow. Like, Blackrock are a bit unusual this year, like they've won matches maybe which they shouldn't have, but I'd still expect them to beat Charleville. Not that it will be easy or anything, and that game goes on in Mallow, but the game that most people are interested in is the game in Páirc Uí Rinn between Bars and SARS. Bars, like, if you go back a short couple of years, they were nearly relegated once. They had to do a bit of backroom changing, but like, when you look through their team, they have, for a start, they have the 3 lads that play football for Castlehaven. They're all 3 good hurlers, the Callaghans, and then they have a number of players coming through from successful underage teams. But like, SARS have been leading lights in this championship, for a while. But I've a fancy feeling for Bars in this one. And like if they do, and if Blackrock beat Charleville, it's SARS who will drop out. But look, I think the most important thing about this championship is that players have got meaningful matches, right? For the two clubs, yes, it's been a bit of a challenge, but I think if you're really into this, it's going to be like the last day of the Premier League. But usually the fellas at the bottom of the Premier League in England, it's usually the teams at the bottom there's more interest. Well, there's going to be serious interest in all of these, because who's going to get the automatic semi-final spot. And in 4 of the championship, there's 2 of those. In the Premier Senior Hurling, there's only 1, because they have to facilitate the Imokili, who won, I would consider, a very good competition in the divisional section. So you have that situation: who'll get the semi-final spot, who's going to get the quarter-final spot, and who the 2 teams that are going to be playing to save their lives. Could you have a better ending to it? And I just say well done to everybody involved in it. It's great for us as supporters just to sit back and relax and enjoy it. I know you'll probably say, geez, if this is your level of enjoyment, but you're with Adam. So the best wishes to all the teams and that, to the clubs that are going to be hosting those matches. And I think sometimes we overlook what efforts the clubs make, in terms of parking programs, ensuring that everything is up to form. And also, I've been so impressed with quite a while now with the level of officialdom in Cork. And when I say officialdom, the match officials, the communication between referees and linesmen, really, really good. And I can only say from talking to them a little bit that they are seriously interested in their jobs as well. So that's our kind of look at GAA sport. The other GAA stories that have been dominating is the inter-county. When I say inter-county, management changes. Kevin McStay, after 65 interviews, probably eventually got that Mayo job. My God, look at the fellas with him. Billy Lee stepped down as manager of Limerick. Tomas O'Shea is taking on the Kerry under 20 jobs. That's probably to get him ready for take the Cork City job in a couple of years' time. Micheál O'Donoghue going to Dublin, and of course you had you've teams that I don't think Donegal footballers, Monaghan footballers have got anybody yet. But anyway, then moving to ladies football, and their championships are got off to a start last week. They'll be probably a little bit disappointed in that in the intermediates and juniors are grand, but in the senior championship, Éireog and Mourneabbey seem to be so far ahead of everybody that is a cause of concern. Now there's 2 games in Group 1, there's 4 senior games in all on Sunday. 2 games in Group 1 where Mourneabbey were awesome last week. We'll take on Kinsale. That game is on at 12:30. Mourneabbey. Valley Rovers, who got a hockey of the highest order last week, will be hoping to get something out of their game with Fermoy. And in Group 2, Ahad and Bride Rovers both won their matches. They now play at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and the final game there is on Monday night at 7 o'clock, I think, between Inch Rovers, who seem to be troubled a bit by injuries, take on Clonakilty. In the intermediate, 3 matches here, and this is a seriously competitive championship. New teams coming up, and maybe teams that have been there for a while are going to be formidable opposition as well. Bantry lost last week, and they now have to get a win against Rosscarbery, and this is Rosscarbery's first outing, and they're really competitive at this level. Owodua Dallow play Araglen Desmond's Bead. Now these are combinations team. The first one, Wondala, hope I got the name right. It's a combination of Newmarket and Turk, and the other combination board being Araglen. That's kind of I suppose a local derby if you like, and then Dunamore take on Castlehaven. Castlehaven are probably with Glenmoire are the favourites, I think, to win this championship. And at junior level, 2 games. Beara, who I don't think fielded last year, and the adult teams down there, the Beara senior team, that numbers can be a bit of a problem, but they're regraded, not relegated, regraded to junior, and they take on Naval Ford. I think Beara should probably win that one. And O'Donnell and Ross are taking on Donnies, and those 2 are serious competitors. And series rivals in terms of that particular competition, so I kind of I fancy them, if you wish. Camogie, and if you like the Camogie, look at some of the Camogie results. The championships are probably at senior level are definitely more competitive than the top grade of the ladies football, and we have 6 games in the senior Camogie championship, 3 on Friday and 3 on Saturday. Glen Rovers take on Enniscarra. I'd fancy Enniscarra in that one. Douglas taking on Killa. I think Killa would get the nod. Douglas were in one of their matches, I think it was against the Glen, were really disappointing. And then Father O'Neill's versus SARS. SARS will be the fancied side there. And then on Saturday, Cladova Noosastown. Did somebody tell me that if Noosastown had their own umpire that won the last day out against Ballygavan? I mean, to check that out. I didn't think that the umpires were vital. Cladova probably would be, they'd be close teams, to be honest. Then St. Finbarrs would be fancy to beat Ayr Oak, and Inniskeen, who came up from intermediate a few years ago, they need to get something out of their game against St. Catherine's. Then we have in the intermediate grade, which again is seriously competitive, Ahabolog against Kilbrittain Timothy, and Kilbrittain Timothy very much a singular club. I think Ahabolog will be slightly fancy there. Clonakilty taking on Piercy. Those 2 games are taking place tonight, and I'd maybe have a slight fancy for Clon in that one. Then on Sunday you have Ballyhead taking on Brian Dillons, who got a right hocking last week from Blackrock. Charleville and Newtown Shandrum, and they play in Ballyhead, that kind of a North Cork derby, and Blackrock taking on Valley Rovers. Both of them won last week. And the junior, then we have 2 games on Friday night. Ballinora taking on St. Vincent's, who've been trying to win this championship, St. Vincent's, for a long number of years, and Ballinascarty taking on Ballinhassig. Ballinhassig have dropped down the ladder a little bit, down to junior, but and they will find probably Ballinascarty formidable opposition. And then on Sunday in the same grade you have Mallow taking on SAR second team. I forgot to mention earlier on that when these round 3 games are going on Sunday, I would imagine that one person from the backroom staff will be on social media keeping an eye on all the other games, because like an injury or hold up and play can give a team a little bit of advantage, and maybe teams will know what to do. And anyway, that's the look at our Camogie ladies football. And finally, if you wish, we'll have a look at the Premier League, and basically I suppose did the world slip off its axis on Monday night when Liverpool were beaten by Manchester United against, I can't believe I'm saying this, against all the odds. And was it a new beginning or another false dawn for Man United fans? Liverpool are missing players, no doubt about that, but United, they won it in merit. And obviously we'll see now how they get on Saturday. They take on Southampton. I saw some smart Alex saying that what United did on Monday night would beat Liverpool, but that they wouldn't be good enough to beat Southampton. He probably has something in that. The other games, our Leeds supporters, third on the table, will go to Brighton. Chelsea take on Leicester. Liverpool, well, they'll have to get a win now. They take on Bournemouth at home. Man City, who are second in the table now, they're only 3 matches played. Look, take on Crystal Palace. And Arsenal, who made their best start in quite a while, take on Fulham. And then on Sunday we have Nottingham Forest, the new teams in the block, taking on Spurs. And in the League of Ireland, there aren't any matches this weekend, and I suppose Cork City, who came from behind last week to beat Cove, the one in down came from behind to beat them. Galway lost a couple of matches in succession, so basically with 6 games left in the Division 1, Cork City are 7 points ahead, and I know that saying about it's theirs now to lose. Well, it is, and this weekend it's the FAI Cup second round, and it's a big ask for Cork City as they travel where they're going to Derry City, and that's going to be a huge ask for them. But look, they have I suppose if you like, the consolation of knowing that they're well ahead in the league, and they can change things around a little bit. So anyway, look, whatever your sport is this weekend, I hope you really enjoy it, and please God, we'll talk again in a week's time.